So, what the fuck is going on here? What a time to be alive, right? Finding all the ancient structures that were all tried to be hidden in the 1800s, various ways. Everyone, and with the internet now, everyone who's into it and can look into it is looking into it. So new information about this stuff is coming out daily. We got people figuring out vibration and sound. What it more about how beautiful that is and how all the ancients, the Egyptians, and everyone, all those motherfuckers, all these temples, how they have to do all with sacred geometry, all about sound, all about light, how they're figuring out all the pyramids and stuff are some kind of energy device using seismic activity with the piezoelectric things in the rocks of all those huge tons and tons and tons of stones having to be stacked perfectly to and then the water that also ran under the pyramid. They're obviously figuring out stuff, and there are people who already know exactly what's going on because they had all the information way before we did, and it's all getting leaked out now. It's all coming out. Why would it be that? Because they're done with it, obviously. So here you go. Take the scraps. We're done with it. You figure out for yourself. We already know. But what is really going on here? Then all the giant mountains that look just like fucking cut trees. I mean, some of them are just look too good to be not. I mean, some of them are like iffy. You're like, no. But some of them are like, what the fuck? That's obviously a tree. Now that I look at it. And some of them even have the trunk of the tree as another mountain range next to it. It's crazy. So trees were fucking huge now. Then there's the whole NASA thing and not really going to space thing and all that coming out. And then it's or flat around. Now, of course, my perspective is fuck all that because I think of something even different. But if we're gonna go to that level, then flat around. Who the fuck knows until I get my own jet airplane and fly out and look for myself and probably get shot down or something. But something's going on. I still tend to think it's round. It's a globe. But I'm much more open to other ideas now. I'm like, oof, could be fucking anything. I have the ice wall idea goes infinite flat plane, or the ice wall on an Earth that's way bigger than we are, and we're just on a little ice walled crater, all of our continents, and then the Earth is just super huge, and we don't even know about it, right? Because we only get one facing of it. And then there's huge trees would make sense. They're all cut down. They're huge. You could probably calculate the size of the true Earth by doing some math and calculating the size of the trees are now, and those trees are the size of the Earth we think. I bet you could. Some crazy stuff. And then there's AI, which AI is losing its luster for all this other stuff. Water cymatics, figuring out how all-encompassing the toroidal field is. The donut. It's pretty much everything. It's everything. It's crazy. What else is going on? Three-Eye Atlas, whatever the fuck that was. All the alien shit that's true. There's been CIA files been coming out all over the place. Everyone's been right about all the aliens. And then there's the Anunnaki shit. And how Eden was a lab facility, a ringed in. Almost like we're... kind of thought, you're as a human whole, as one person, their mind expands as they grow, and you take some drugs and really expand your mind. But you expand, your mind expands, right? As a human whole, your mind expands, right? So I was thinking, Eden was a walled-in facility where they were doing either experiments on the hominids that were native to the planet with DNA and stuff from whoever was keeping them there, or something like that. I listen to this stuff, but and there's a ring around it, right? It's Eden's a walled-in place, and they say that even the apple was figuring out True knowledge is true knowing of what was going on, and we had to kick you out then. You know what I mean? Fuck, we're trying to run experiments here, trying to make the perfect, beautifulness. No, anyway, I don't know why that came out. So, and now we have this ice wall around the 7 continents. So I went from this ring, this test facility, the humans, but we just can't contain them. Who knows how many walls it's been? Maybe the Great Wall is one of them. Who knows? And now we have the ice wall all the way around 7 continents. That's how much our human minds have expanded. But they're still ringing us in, and we don't know that the Earth is way bigger than it really is, and we're just in this little thing, our little continents and everything. And that's why the big trees. That's why the giant people. And I don't mean the semi-giant people like the 15-footers and crazy 20-foot. I mean the giant people that matched more sizes of those trees were. I mean, and they were in proper ratio. The giant people of our age and a little lower, the ratio's not right. They don't look quite right. Like they're really lanky. Even tall people are all day. They're not ratioed quite. I don't want to say right because there's no right or wrong, but you know what I mean. But these giants were shaped ratio like a normal kind of human. You know what I mean. No offense to anybody. Now, that leaves me to think the Earth is probably bigger than we think it is. Because the trees and the giants. Aquarium. Yeah, bigger aquarium, bigger fish, bigger lizard or whatever. They grow bigger with the bigger, it's that kind of thing. And they're keeping us from us because we're some kind of new thing or something. A new game, a new playing field. But we're starting to figure it out. So there's going to be another ring or another wall or something. We're going to figure out something, and then there's another thing. It'll probably be the real space of the real Earth, or something like that. Void. I don't know. But since the universe is fractal like that, it makes sense. It would just be a bigger ring and a bigger ring and a bigger ring, from Eden to the ice wall around the 7 continents to whatever, some even larger wall around the ice wall after a certain setting so that even fewer people know about, or something like that. So in some kind of weird way. That's the ice wall thing. And then there's people that just say it's an infinite plane. That makes less sense to me. But with all the shit coming out, what makes sense? Like, what does actually sense, And then there's my point of view where it's like, okay, really everything's flat because space and time, it does not exist. We're just a moving image of eternity. But that's, if you've watched my video, you know my thoughts on that kind of thing. And so but that's not what the game we're playing. We have to that's the level of trueness, and then we go into this other level of, is the Earth flat or is it? But that's the game level. We don't really can't have our fun in the game if we know everything and we're in this level. We have to get down in the game to have a good time and have fun. All right. So yeah, I could say everything's flat, but then what's that? It's truth. But I mean, what I mean, infinite depth out of a flat. It's project. You know what I mean? It's an illusion. Everyone's been saying it, but now I actually can see it experientially. It's like it's an illusion. All right, but this point's moot, right? Why don't we talk about that? Let's go one level lower and talk about, is the Earth fucking within that illusion? Is the Earth a globe? Because it's not those pictures. Ugh, the pictures. And then there's AI fucking everything up at the same time. Because so people don't know it's real or not. It's like, wow, what a time to be alive. It's like, what the fuck? Everything's coming in. Everything. Terrence McKenna said this would happen. He said this would happen. Everything's converging, getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But what happens, it pops into something kind of new thing. Some kind of new understanding or a new something. 3i Atlas, that fucking alien ship or whatever that kind of it's a ship. It's definitely a ship. But that's not even, there's probably so much. Then all the things like the ship's docked at the sun and everything. It's like with AI out now, it's like, wait, is that? How do I know this? I had to do my own research. You gotta really look into this shit. Some shit you can just tell is fake. You think. But all the legit shit they're finding out about vibration and sound and water. Just the fact that water holds memory and you freeze it and it'll hold the image of whatever your thought, whatever. It's fucking crazy. So, what a time to be alive. If you think life is boring, you are just be under a rock, all the shit they're finding out. Because if you're just watching mainstream news, I don't think this stuff is making it to mainstream news. I don't think so. I don't watch it, so I wouldn't know. I doubt it. I'm guessing mainstream news is probably whatever the Republicrats are doing, and that fake show, right? And then they're probably broadcasting wars, I'm assuming, or like conflicts, or shifting blames by saying, "Hey, look at this! What's going on over here? What's going on over here? It gives your attention." I'm sure there's something like that's what's going on. I wouldn't know. I'm not watching it. Um, it is seeping into my internet experience, though. So I see it ever so slowly. Get that shit away from me. But what a time to be alive. Like, what is really going on? And then, on top of all that, better than all of that, people are finally figuring out we create this experience. We literally create our own realities. Now that people cannot wrap their mind around. It took me fucking 15 years, however long, to wrap my mind around it and believe it. And I was not the type just to be like, oh, all these people believe that? I'm going to believe it. No. I had to do so much research, so much real experience with all kinds of stuff. My teachers, Alan Watts, Terrence McKenna, Esther, Bashar, or Daryl Anka, Esther Hicks, Terrence McKenna, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison. I think I'm missing one. Brian Wilson. All my teachers. My blatant teachers, because life experience is obviously a teacher, but they're all part of my life experience. So, it goes kind of both ways there. But yeah, you create your own reality. That's bigger than all this shit. It's bigger than all this shit. So how does that tie in? Because it's all thoughts, and as a human whole, everyone's thought. You can extrapolate. Like, say, one human here, me, I create my own reality with my belief system. I have a mixed bag of beliefs that, for me, I know pretty well now. I know that maybe there's a few hidden ones I'm yet to find out that I need to fix. Maybe not. I've been doing pretty good. Most people run around with a mixed bag of structural belief that is running their life, and they don't know it. They just think they're just human believing, this happens. My life goes this way, so I believe it. And then, anyway, that's what's happening, right? So most people are just kind of creating by default, as Esther would say. They're creating their own reality, but they're not in control. They don't know about it, and they're just running on default. And that experience is usually you believe yourself to be a real, knock on wood, human thing, and there's real space and time and stuff. Oh, yeah, like that shit's legit, right? I mean, anyone who studies quantum physics knows that that's just not legit. Something else is going on. It needs to stop. And then you learn to surf. You learn to actually deliberately create and not just run on default mode. That's bigger than all this stuff. Now, how does that tie in? All this crazy stuff has happened. Depending on each person's belief and make up the human whole, that belief structure is going to decide what gets the formality of actually occurring. And I can tell more people are coming out of the closet, so to speak, who know and believe the way I do. And it's been going on for so many, goddamn, a long, long time. It's not like this is new. But if you don't know about it and you don't have this in your belief system, you're never going to run across these videos of these people. That's why someone like me is good, because I'm kind of a don't judge a book by its cover type person. You look at me in public, and you probably not going to think that I'm this. And so people who normally wouldn't come across this stuff might get tricked into kind of like, but they're probably dissonant, and then probably just scroll if it gets weird. But it's the first nick of moving in the right direction. That's the kind of thing I'm doing, I think, something like that. Creating your own reality beats all this stuff. Water, cymatics, all of it. Because we're literally creating this. That's who we are. I'm not this human here, right? I am the space. It's really not space. I wish, how can I get this across? This is not space. This is just my hand getting smaller and bigger. and moving in a different perspective. It's not space. It's an illusion. It's my finger is just a denser version of the so-called space around it. It's like, and it's not even that. It's I was so ineffable. You can't really explain it. But I think it's slowly happening as the internet melds our consciousness all together, you know, in a more dense 3D way to supplement what's already going on in the 5D, morphogenetic field type stuff. Everyone's consciousness will be ready more a little bit to hold these new understandings, even if it's someone who doesn't even think about this stuff at all, who's still rigid and not even there as a whole, because he's part of the whole still. Some little piece of him will be practically better able to understand this stuff, and maybe 10,000 lifetimes down the road. That's probably too much. He'll, that it's already got a nick in him, and it will grow, kind of thing. You'll figure out that yes, it was a game, and I got so enthralled in it and forgot who I was, but it's a game. So now let's go back into the game. And is the Earth a big giant globe and we're just in a ring? These 7 continents are just in a ring, and that's why all the countries in the world decided that no one else can go to their Antarctica, because it's not really a giant island. You can say, even if the Earth is so large, as large it would be to house those giant trees, the mountains, then our portion, I mean, that's a big Earth. Our little portion of the 7 continents would seem flat, because what the globe that it's on is huge. Which one of the flat earthers would say it was flat? But it's not flat. It's just a huge fucking globe. I keep going back to that. It's fun to think about what the fuck is going on here. And what if it's not even that? Remember, we're not throwing in the fact that all this is an illusion and no space. We gotta set that aside. Or we can't have fun in our game. Because I can just say, well, none of that really matters because, and then that goes. And where's the fun in that? What else is going on? Just crazy stuff going on. All the regular technology that's happening with the electric cars and the airplanes, the drone type technology turning into human sized drone vehicles and shit. Oh man, what's gonna be going on by the time 2000 say what by the time 2035? Because it's an asymptotic curve, like Terrence were kind of saying. It just gets faster and faster. Technology is gonna be. What is gonna happen? Is that what creates like an asteroid hit or a flood or a nuclear war? It's just like everything gets just so crazy that something has to pop out somewhere, some kind of way, and so an asteroid comes and just flattens it out, clears the playing board. Like it's too much processing speed now. We don't have the power. We gotta clear the board. Send in the asteroid 311. No, not 311. That's the biggest one. No, I was kidding. Oh. It's obviously a playing board, right? Even if it's an ice ring, the 7 continents, it's a playing field. It's a playing board. I just thought of this because of that, right? It's obvious. And maybe all the beings of the universe, or this area of the universe, are all getting into human consciousness and playing being human. These size humans in a world that's a globe. And, we got wars and deceit and affairs and bliss and joy, and it's, who knows what's gonna happen. It's like a sandbox, like the ultimate sandbox game. And all the aliens, which would be really just the real people of the world, including me and you, we're all putting our consciousness into here. And it's such a game that you forget when you get down, and you're gonna forget. And I can imagine the people watching, because it must be a hell of a TV show, because you can see the people who forgot. It must be the people who like to watch the people who are just completely forgot. And there's probably people who like to watch the people who are figuring it out, or that whatever channel you like to watch of this game. Also show entertainment, because we would need endless entertainment if we exist forever. Maybe this is what existing forever has come up with. Some type of game that does everything. It's a complete kit. Teaches consciousness who they really are. Also allows a consciousness who know who they are for trillion, billion, kabillion years something to do. And I'm sure there's another level away from this earth thing that's even more for people who are tired of this and they need something more. You always seem to get exactly what you need. So I'm excited. What is going to happen? What the fuck is going to happen? Like, what is going to happen next few years? I'm not a prediction maker or anything, but I see the old arcade games of mass manipulation and fake war, which is not fake for the people doing it, but for the people running the show, it's fake war. To get all that stuff is going out the window. It's slowly going out the window. The mass public is just getting too educated. So they're either going to have to jump up a level or kind of phase into society some kind of way, but something's going to change. I don't know how it's going to change. It might be rough, but the new thing that comes from it will be something new and better. Maybe it won't be as rough as you think. Maybe the old is just decrepit and falling apart and there's nothing they can do. The new is coming in. New babies being born, old motherfuckers dying. So the expansiveness of the human thought structure grows with each new baby born, each person like me expanding your consciousness, and it's rigid people who are never going to expand croak and get back into the pool to come into another fucking baby with a new set. But I think his timeline and his karma, his habitual momentums also tie into what the new life will be. But he will also come in a little more ready, equipped. You know, he's got the new antenna installed and all that kind of thing. You know what I mean? The new receiver. He's capable of having these thoughts now. He may not have them for 10 lifetimes, but he's capable, kind of thing. Because it'd be, you know, however we got all divided, humans, however we got all divided and then kept divided and stayed divided, it's changing now with the internet. We're only divided on the surface, but on the undersurface of the internet, everyone's playing the same games, laughing at the same shit. So it's changing, and the division is changing. Of course, we're never divided here through the field. That's everywhere, but it's not really everywhere because space is an illusion, so it's not as like crazy as you think it is. But I don't know why I love telling secrets. So what is this new reality going to tie? What is it going to be? I know it's going to be something cool, better. I know it's going to be an improvement. You can look at your own local life and see what timeline you're branching off to. And extrapolate that out to the 7 continents and the human dilemma. And it has to be the same. It has to be the same kind of thing happening. Now, there might be a person whose life is just falling apart. They're on a timeline, maybe, where shit gets worse, but you're not going to end up seeing them. They're going to go on their own timeline. While someone whose life, like me, seems to be getting better on every subject and every aspect, well, they're on a timeline where Earth and the humans are figuring out that they're family. And it's a human race. It's Earth. It's not United States, this country, this state, this province, these boys. It's not that. That's like inches and lines of latitude. Go out there and gather all the lines of latitude and bring them to me. And then I'll tell you why separating borders makes sense. It does not. We're all humans on the same planet. Obviously, we belong together. Kind of a stewardess to the planet, an aid, not trying to fix things, because you know how humans are. Go out and plant 1,000 trees. Maybe it's good for the planet, maybe it's not. Maybe the earth is like, God damn it, I was going to do something else with that, and now I got all these trees there. Whatever. Humans like to fix things, but really find out later that they didn't fix them at all. This is much better just to let her do her thing and get out of her way. She's not as much trouble as you think she is, old Mother Earth. She knows exactly what she's doing. But we're all one thing. We're not. Why are we separated? Why are we letting people? This game is so tired. We could be doing so much cool things. We could still have all our competitions and games and stuff. Because, we love that. But in a different way. Drop all countries. Maybe, the only way you'll know someone's from a different part of the land is by their skin color and stuff. But that won't separate you. It'll just be interesting. But we're all part of the Earth. We'll come together for our games and our competitions, and we show off our stuff, I'm sure. And this is what this is what we're doing in this corner of the Earth. Not this is our country. This is what we're doing down here in this part of the Earth, and this is where our technology and everything. And everyone's together, like a big show and tell. And of course, there would still be altercations and stuff, but it doesn't have to be on a global scale about this and that. It would be more, local, normal stuff, and that will be less and less too. And we'll just get along because we won't be idiots or being manipulated by people smarter than us who already know what's really going on. They don't really know what's really going on, but they know enough to manipulate and kind of hold power over all the masses who don't. And then there's people who know more than that know that none of that matters anyway, because what we're doing here is all a game anyway. So chill out, relax. The people who want the more vicious war game still, that reality will bifurcate and go off on its own tunnel. While people like me and other people who, would like to bring the Earth together as one human race, we're going off on a separate reality track. And this is, even though things are changing, getting faster and faster, and this is still years down the line, obviously it ain't gonna happen tomorrow, but we're already connected. It's like we all know that's what should be happening. Maybe when you're younger and less developed, how you maybe know you did something wrong, but you don't want to admit it, right? You just kind of take it to the grave. They know you did wrong. You know you did wrong. Or maybe you found out you did wrong mid-argument, and you're like, ugh, well, you just fight the argument anyway because fuck that bitch, right? That's kind of what's going on. We know we should all be loving each other and shouldn't be separated by fake borders, and this Earth is ours, and everyone should be together and share everything. It would be easy. But it's like they're like, nah, we've been doing it this way this long. We're just gonna ride it out. Well, you're gonna die eventually, and then new people are really gonna come in who will have an already entrained way of feeling about this kind of thing. It's already happening. It's already happening. All kinds of different blendings of humans coming in, all that make you unable to label people. That's something that's happening. That's part of this. It's always been the case, but it's much more evident now. And people could just stop getting offended over stuff. God, what is there to be offended about when you really know what's going on? People can stop caring what other people think. Because I have my own views on reality, right? And what if you're the type of person that hears someone talking like this and gets offended? Don't mean to judge you, but you get offended. You should be so strong in your own beliefs that my beliefs won't offend you. That just means you're not really strong in your own beliefs. If I can so confidently say what I know to be true, and it offends you, that's shrinking. It offends you. Oh, well, you must not have been strong in your beliefs. If you were strong in your beliefs, if you knew through experience that your beliefs were right and true, someone like me would not offend you. First of all, you'd be wise enough to know that there'll be two different belief systems that can be right. That's how malleable the universe is. And if you don't know that, you'll at least be wise enough to honor and respect someone else's opinion, and it wouldn't infringe on your truth. Because that just doesn't make no sense. Only reason that would happen is if you say you know that person is like intelligent or something, and they think this way. Like I know they're smart, and their beliefs are way different than what I think. And that kind of makes you feel a certain way, right? Well, don't. You just haven't had enough life experience to really be solid in your beliefs yet. If you're getting offended by someone else talking about their beliefs, that's all that is to it. So you just gotta cook a little longer and get your own beliefs. If someone came to me and told me their beliefs, and it was flies in the face of my beliefs, I have a belief that lets that run rampant and live, that kind of thing. It doesn't cut that out. I know that the universe is not quite what it seems, and that your beliefs create your own reality. So I know from his perspective, he could be a person who's just lying and wants to argue, or he could really truly believe and have his experience been showing him that yes, this is the way the universe works for his belief, which is different than my structure completely. And I know that the universe or God or whatever is wise enough, all encompassing enough to house both of those. And both, from his perspective, be true, and from my perspective, be true. They're both true. It can be that way. I'm not saying it's always that way. Some people just want to argue, some people are just stupid. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Ignorant. You can always learn, always be better, but I'm just trying to make a statement here. So don't get offended by other people's beliefs. That's just telling you that you need to shore up your beliefs a little bit, because when you're sure in your belief, you will not get offended. It just doesn't happen. You can tell me your belief, and I'll just stand there right there, not offended. Like, oh, that's interesting. And you'll probably be more offended. Like, oh, God. I'm going to go study my Bible a little more or something. Or whatever. This is going on a long time, 31 minutes. I really just wanted to show how amazing this experience is that we're doing. And it's coming out now with you just go on the internet and do a little stuff. It's amazing how, because I think about this all the time. I was born in 1984. All right, best year there ever was, because I was born. So Esther and Daryl, if they weren't already doing this, they're just about starting to do this. I know it was late 80s, maybe mid 80s. It's weird how when I was born. Anyway. And I lived my whole life up to like, I don't know, 2000 something, not ever hearing of this stuff. Ever. And plenty of people, there's way more people than Esther and Daryl who are saying this stuff. Plenty of people throughout the years, for hundreds and hundreds of years, have been saying this, but I never came across it. Why? Because I wasn't thinking about it. Your beliefs create your own reality, and I was not thinking or any of that stuff. And if it came into my reality, I was kind of go with the flow. I didn't really, and I had the prove it to me kind of attitude, If someone says anything is possible when I was like 10, I was like, jump over this house. You're a bitch, right? And so say it with me. Anything's not possible. That's the kind of person I was. Don't, now look at me. God. But, fuck, wherever I was going with that. I may have proved my point anyway. Yeah, was I even trying to prove a point? Probably not. Whatever. How majestic reality is. Us. We are. This is crazy. And the more it's indicative, like the more our minds locally and as a human race expand and we're ready for more, is the more we keep finding out and like about the ancient lands and things been hidden from us, and aliens and ancient structures and sacred geometry and the power plant pyramids that are all over the world, and the crazy pyramids and structures that were laser etched into mountainsides some kind of way. They weren't built, obviously, when you look at them, and they're so intricate to freaking pieces of hair through fucking designs and shit. All this crazy shit. It's just indicative of our consciousness expanding. If we weren't expanding in our consciousness, this shit would stay hidden. We live another 500 years never figuring this stuff out. But something happened, and we are expanding. We are expanding. There's enough people expanding now that can ride all the mass, like the mass unawares. They can ride with us because there's enough of us. Not all of them, but there's still reality bifurcations. People going their own routes. It's always happening. It's just so awesome. Whatever's going on. And then there's like the question, like, why is this going on? Like, why does it have to be this? Whoa. Why should it be this? Wouldn't it be easier to be nothing? What is this? How you can be so mysterious to yourself is something. And then what the fuck are we? Oh, because you can say we're light, we're love, we're light, we're vibration. What the fuck is that? Why shouldn't anything exist? Like, what is vibrating? And they would say vibration is vibrating. Something is wrong here. It's like we're missing something still. The vibratory field. It's just vibration, just different frequencies of vibration, magnetism, magnetic fields, and electricity. Really one and the same thing, I think. I think we're trying to separate that, but I think that's one and the same system. But what is that? Like, why? Why would that be a thing? Why should any of this be happening? And then on top of that, make a shape of a human and talking about it. It just seems so improbable. Maybe not. Maybe this is the only thing that could happen. Then that raises more questions. Like free will and shit. And this has been, but then there are days, and here's the kicker. I'm the take home. I'm more in it in my head now, right? It's because it's fun to kind of, think about it in a limited way there. You can really feel the majestic presence of it, right? But there's times when I'm really in the feeling mode where I've been focused on feeling, and it's just feeling is just strong. I mean, I'm just barely can contain my smile. Don't want to come in my pants kind of thing, where then it feels like you understand what the universe is and why even talk about it. It's like, no, I get it. You don't think this, but you don't even think it. You're so connected to source, and the way you feel tells you that. There's a level of that. You eventually get to the point you're so connected, but you just understand what it is, and to try to put it into words is a shame kind of thing. Right? I'm not right there right now. Right now I'm just, it's fun to try to think about it at this level. It's fun, it's interesting, which is connected. You're interested, you're having fun, thinking about something, you're connected to source. But there's a different connection to where you don't want to think about that anymore. It's like, stop talking. I'm focused on my feeling here. And it happened to me a long time ago. Listening to an Esther recording, Abraham Hicks, and I was feeling so good that I wanted her to shut up. I think I turned the video off. And that was a key moment for me, where the feeling was more important than what was going on around me. I remember that. I was like, she kept talking, and I was like, man, I'm feeling good. Or maybe the person who was talking to her kept talking. Anyway, the voices were annoying me. I was like, fuck it. I just want to focus on this feeling instead. And that was a pivotal point. Anyway, that was many, many, many years ago. And something like that happens, and then it's a long time before it cycles back and happens again. And when it does, you got to remember that it happened here, and there's a big distance between. You can quantify your own journey that way. See certain cycles for what they are and when they're going to come, and if you're making progress on them. What was I talking about? When you really start feeling yourself, trying to explain it goes away. You don't want to try to explain it anymore. And I think there's a nugget of truth or something in that. There's something in that could be explained further. To be explained further. Or I should just be focused on my feeling body and stop trying to explain it. It's like I'm sitting on the fence of either side. But if I'm having fun with it, we're all golden. We're all golden because I'm connected to source. If you don't think this existence is something, a complete ever mystery, but not at the same time, the most horrid and the most beautiful thing at the same time, the most confounding, yet, no, of course this is what it is. Wait, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. It's like a paradox. We're a paradox. Some kind of paradox. Maybe a paradox is the only true thing. And if something doesn't seem like it's a paradox, it's not where it's at. Like, true existence is paradox. It's the only thing that can exist is a paradox. I never had that thought before. That's fun. That's exciting. Having a new thought to you come out, because those can link to other thoughts. I've never been so interested in thinking before. I think it's because I'm at a higher frequency, and this version of me really loves to think about stuff. Like, really try to mull it over. Even though I know, even as the feeling starts rising to my feet now, I know I can get to the point where this is, why am I even explaining it? You're dumb. Why you explain it? It's trivial. But that's kind of sad. You don't want to get to the point where it's like, why even talk about it? But you do when you're feeling that feeling, you do. But coming from the thought way of it, it's like sad. It's like, no, I want to talk about it. It's fun. I want to get to the point where it's like, not even worth talking about anymore. But that's just a miscued conception, because when you're feeling it, you don't. That's not what you feel like when you don't want to talk about it. You're thinking like, of course I don't want to talk about this. I'm busy feeling my connection to pure source energy in my human form, the illusion. What the fuck is going on here? Like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, all right. I gotta end this because I'm just gonna keep going in circles. And my mouth is getting dry, and I want to smoke some more weed also. I drink some water. Like, I almost hope I can get to a certain feeling state. And you know, as I think of this, Terrence McKenna in his mushroom trips, as he met the I don't like, he even called them machine elves, but I don't even like that name. It's more of a jeweled, like he called them jeweled basketballs, but I'm thinking more of that water cymatic now, the way that looks on some of those things they do. Anyway, they taught him to create this feeling, and it would come out of his mouth as one of them kind of thing. It could be anything. A mix of like lust, pantyhose, tree branches, porn, excitement. It's all that stuff in a thing, right? Something crazy where if you brought it into this reality, it would just cause everything to stop. Because like, what the fuck is that? That's impossible. And they taught him how to make that out of his voice. I think the moving image of eternity, where we are, is that. But we're so focused on this kind of image that we're doing. But I think that's what we are, right? The self-dribbling basketball. The whole moving image of eternity, all that is one giant self-dribbling machine elf basketball. These are all just names that make no sense to most people, and I still don't like using them, but this is what Terrence McKenna tried to explain when he saw. It was self-dribbling, modulating, shining, moving machine elves. And the machine elf part was more how they were constructed, and not like elf with a jerkin and a feather in his hat kind of elf, according to Terrence McKenna. Although it had that vibe to it. It wasn't really what they were. He called them tykes. They had that vibe to it, that gnomish vibe, living under a hill vibe. But they were like dribbling, jeweled basketballs of everything amalgamated together. Like I said, it could be just porcelain and brick and your third grade embarrassing moment and sin and lust, all in there as a thing you could see, all morphing around. And that's what the moving image of eternity is. Holy, fractally, it's a tyke. And he got into those with the mushroom trip, and I think it's just your own consciousness trying to come around in a way that you can explain to you what we are. Anyway, what I was thinking of, and then what made me think of that, because I was thinking, I hope that there's a way I can get a feeling in me so vibrant and then say a thing that people will have to understand it. You know, that seeing is beholding. And I think that is a phrase that someone said, was it William Blake? I do not know. That if you truly hear someone is to understand them, or was that it? Or to truly see something is to understand. I forgot it. I'm probably butchering that. But I was hoped that would be the case, that I could actually get a feeling state good enough that the words that come out of my mouth charged with that, and he would understand it. But what the tykes were doing was he would get the feeling state, and he said, Terrence McKenna in the trip, they were like, yeah, you're doing good. He would feel this this pressure or this feeling coming up, and it would come out his mouth into a visible thing that everyone could understand because they could go around it and see it. What if we could do that in this reality, but no one has figured it out? What if human language and voice carrying meaning slowly through the air is like a 2% version of what we're supposed to be doing with our voice? Creating actual realities. That's a new thing I've never. But that flies against my current belief of how reality creation actually works, because we're not actually spewing it out, but there's still something to be said to that, I think, about me feeling a certain way or someone feeling a certain high frequency and then being able to speak something that people actually understand. Because hundreds of people follow Esther and Daryl around the country, listening to them all over the place, because they only understand them when they're in their presence listening to them. And then when they go home, they lose that frequency and they don't quite feel the same. They don't get it anymore. So they follow them around. But maybe there's another way. Maybe there's a more complete way of speech that we're not doing. And the tykes, the self-dribbling basketballs, which are also the speech, because the thought you keep thinking never stops. Once a thought gets started, it goes on forever, and you can create more thoughts. That's an Esther thing that she says. So the tykes would be thought, right? Thought creating thought. Not human in a mushroom trip doing what their tykes are doing, because I'm just a thought. So if I were to do that, it would be a thought creating a thought. The tyke is just a thought. And when they do it, they're just thought creating thought. Universe as a whole, the whole moving image of eternity, a thought. In the beginning was the word. Maybe it should be in the beginning was the thought. The subvocal word. Maybe word. Everything is thought. So the point is moot. That's why it's hard to teach. It's all thought. Maybe there's some kind of inherent natural thing between meaning, thought, electricity, and magnetism. That we can't quite see because it's a tautology, because we are it. Like teeth can't bite your own teeth, kind of thing. All I know is it's fun to think about. All right, I think that's it. That's all I got. Damn, that was a long one. That was a nice, good old WeedTalk.